typical venture, the flaws really are: one, it's designed for the 1%. So it's designed for a very small number of brands, as you said. It's binary.
Yep.
It's either a massive success or a massive failure. There's no middle ground, and we need to build a solution for that middle ground. It's a limited set of tools. So it's save some convertible notes up front and then priced equity until an exit. And you just can't do the work we need to do with only those tools. And then lastly, what you alluded to is the limited timeline. So not a lot of these businesses, especially if they have a regenerative supply chain and we're trying to maintain the integrity of that, are going to scale in a 5, 7, 10-year timeline, because that's the return timeline that you owe the LPs. So you hit on all those. I just wanted to recap those. The things I would add on to that is, I want to be careful to not throw the baby out with the bathwater. And this is very biased because I am trying to build a venture strategy for Regen Brands. So look, I'm throwing my bias out there up front, but I do think it is still an amazing tool for those 1%. And
absolutely,
myself as the person trying to bring a piece of significant capital to this space for the first time, the market dynamics dictate that you have to start there. And here's why. Because it's really hard to raise a meaningful amount of money on unproven tools. And everything outside of that, even though the batting average is still low, is an unproven tool. So it's really hard to raise $10 million, let alone 25, 30, 50, which is what we need to make a meaningful dent in this thing. Secondly, we do have a slate of brands that I would call in the 1% that need funding. We could fund and could scale and exit at a venture timeline and return. And then the third thing, which is really the biggest flaw, which ties back into the first thing, is unfortunately, as a professional fund manager, you have to earn the right to be innovative. And so what I mean by that is, I can't take some super new strategy to potential LPs and raise that significant amount of money until I've proven myself over typically 3 funds, which sucks, but that's the world we live in. And so it's almost the unfortunate order of operations of, I got to go do 1, 2, 3, 4 pretty vanilla funds, have success, and then I can come back to that same group of people in the market generally and say, hey y'all, we're going to raise 50 million now for this other strategy that we think we're still very bullish on, but it's more of an R&D trial because there's not this super big sample size to say this is for sure going to work or for sure has this type of an outcome.